So, guys, I climbed Snowdon again.
Again,
Again, yeah.
what was your reasoning for like, okay, I'm just gonna go Wales and I'm gonna go climb Snowdon again?
Well, you know why? I'm training for the Free
Yes, I
Peaks.
know, but I'm trying to get the viewers to know.
Yeah, I'm training for the Free Peaks, so I went and climbed it again. I did the second hardest route because my workmate was like, "You should do this route," and I was like, "Okay," and so I did that, and yeah, I had to do a bit of scrambling, and that was about the hardest bit. It went really steep very quickly, and then I had to use my hands to climb up the rocks. So yeah, but then for
So,
some reason coming down that section, it was far easier. But I didn't feel I needed to use my hands as much, which kind of really confused me. But that it was good. I got up
so
to the
do you
top.
know which route you're gonna be doing when you do the three peaks?
So there are 7 routes up Snowdon. I've done 3 of them now, and the route I'll be doing for the actual challenge, I've not done.
Oh,
But I'm doing Snowdon again the week before the challenge, and
why?
and I'll be doing half of the route for the challenge.
Why only half?
Because so, as I said, there's 7 routes. So for the challenge, I will be doing the pig route and going up, and then I'll be going down. I'll be doing the Lamberis route, the
Okay.
piss easy route. So when I do it the week before, I'll be going up the pig route, but then I'll be coming down the miners track. And the reason why is both of them they start and finish they both start and finish at the same car park.
Okay.
So at that car park you can do either one. So a lot of people do a circuit where they go up pig or miners and then come down the other. That's what I'll be doing the week before. So by the end of the year, I'll have done 6 of the routes up Snowdon. 6 out of 7 routes up Snowdon.
That's gonna frustrate you the fact you're like, I want to do the seventh route.
Yeah, that'll be the hardest one. And my workmate said, don't do it unless it's very sunny
Why?
because it's dangerous. People have died on that route.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yes, it's very dangerous. Even doing the route on the weekend was dangerous. I went really early, so it was hardly anyone up while I was doing it. And then as I was coming down, there was like nearly 100 people past me. So I was like, all right, it's not as dangerous as I thought it was.
Mm.
But
So what else did you go up to in Wales?
I did a couple of castles. I went to Anglesey, the little island next to Snowdonia, and I probably ate the best sausage roll I've ever had.
Why the sausage roll?
Well, I went to this bakery yesterday morning because I needed breakfast. So because I left the hostel really early, and then I realised, a lot of the things don't really open till like 9:30. So I went for a little walk, and then I was like, right, the bakery opens at 9:30. I'll get my breakfast there. I bought a bacon and cheese turnover and a sausage roll,
Oh.
and both of them were the best I'd ever had. The bacon and cheese turnover was incredible. The sausage roll was incredible. The best I've ever had. So yeah,
What's the prices like, considering they were that amazing?
less than £3 for the both of them.
Oh, that's really good considering I think Greg's you're literally looking at
Oh,
£3 for those two.
fuck Greg's over this bakery. This bakery was god tier. Yep. So and then I went into the smallest house in Britain, in the UK.
Oh, okay. How
And
was that? Did you actually go into it or just stand outside?
I went in. I had to pay £1.50 to go in, but I went in. It's literally my what do it's like it's absolutely tiny. Like the bottom you got a bedroom, and then you got like the living room. It's not no one lives there anymore. It's basically like a little museum, but in the living room it's like a kitchen. There's literally one seat. There's like a fireplace with a stove, and then you got like a little trapdoor with the stairs that go up to the bedroom, and it's got a tiny little bed and then 2 chest of drawers, and that's it.
So does someone actually still like concurrently live there?
No. I think the
I
last
was gonna say
person.
like are they like literally getting people to pay their mortgage, rent or whatever
No,
by
no.
making visitors?
No. The last person that lived there was like 18 something, I think, and they were 3 foot something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So if the house is that small, how many sausage rolls can you fit in it?
Well,
Yeah, because
still
if
quite a
the
bit, I'll tell you
normal
that.
sausage roll is like 30 centimeters long, if you're looking for a real nice sized sausage roll.
All right, somebody get a calculator and a mass out. We're going to work this out.
The new Taskmaster challenge. How many sausage rolls can you fit in this room?
Like, essentially, the house was basically the size of 2 toilet cubicles on top of each other. Like, the space of like, if you, like, went into a toilet cubicle, like, the space of, like, the floor, it was essentially, like, 2 of them on top of each other, kind of. Maybe not to the ceiling, but, like, it was tiny. It's in Conway, and I went there before, many years ago, and I didn't even realise that was there. So it was when I went to Conway, I was like, I must do the castle, which I was a bit disappointed by, and then I was like, I must do the smallest house, and I've done them both. Probably like the best thing I did that wasn't something I planned was I went to these brickworks on Anglesey. The guy at the hostel was just like, oh, you should go do these brickworks on Anglesey if you're struggling with things to do. And I was like, all right. I managed to find it, and it was really cool. It's this old abandoned factory, and yeah, I just went down. It's by the beach, so yeah, I just went down, just explored it. There was a family and some women there just chilling, exploring as well. So I wasn't on my own. There's a few people coming down to look at it, and yeah, I just went around, looked, and I had the best weather of the whole day there, and yeah, it was great. I mentioned it to my friend last night, and she was like, I am so jealous. I love exploring abandoned places. I was like, well, you didn't come with... I don't know. That was my time in Wales again. And I'm going again in August. So yeah.
Nice. Welcome all to the Victory Achieved podcast. My name is Brandon, and I'm going to be introducing my fellow boys to the podcast. Hello, Dan. Hello, Chris. How are you both?
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, I've got a cup of tea. I'm good.
I've got a glass of milk. I'm feeling very calcium-fied.
I have orange squash.
Right. I've been meaning to... Right. I have to get started on the drinks conversation here. How would you describe someone the difference between squash and juice?
Well, I'd always describe juice as like fresh from the fruit, right? Or concentrate.
And squash is the thing you dilute.
And squash is cordial, yeah.
Yeah.
So when people say, "Oh, do you want some juice?" and they give you the diluted squash, how do you feel about that?
Lighter.
I feel very lighter as well.
Yeah, well, in my family, we've always said squash, so I know it's cordial as well, but...
Oh, fuck, don't throw that one into it.
No, I call it cordial as well.
I know. It would only be like, if I offer, be like, oh, do you want some orange juice or orange squash? I'll offer both. I won't just be like, oh, you want orange juice and then I give them squash. No. Orange squash or orange cordial is completely different to orange juice. And
yes.
If I have both in the house, I will offer both of them. I won't offer just orange juice and then give them squash, because that's not right.
What if you offered them squash but gave them juice? Would they feel happy about it? They're like, ooh.
Well, I wouldn't do it, but because that's not me. But I think if I did do it, I think the person would be like, well, this is not what I wanted.
Let me speak to your manager.
Yeah.
You could confuse people further by offering the vegetable squash and pulping that down into juice. So you can have squash juice.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you want squash?
Yeah. No, squash juice. We've just had this conversation. It can't be squash cordial. That doesn't exist.
No, it has to be squash.
Yeah. No. Anyway, shall we talk about unusual stuff?
Yes, because all right. So I'm just going to immediately get into this because, as obviously viewers, we know Dan has just introduced his little adventure to Snowdon, which he got up to. And I also went on an adventure last weekend, and I didn't even realise I was going on it. It was a genuine surprise, this. So it was...
Unexpected journey, is it?
It was an absolute unexpected journey. It was. So it was our 4-year anniversary on the 19th of April. And Lacey gets me an Apple Watch for the anniversary present. I was like, I've literally never worn a watch in my life. So it was like me getting used to wearing this watch.
To clarify, is this an apple juice or an apple cordial watch?
It is an apple with a slight bite mark out of it, but you wear it on your wrist. Yeah, so she got me that. So I thought, that's a really expensive present. It's really lovely. I've never really gotten used to wearing watches, so I made an effort to obviously wear it. And then about a few I say maybe a week passed. Yeah, well, it must have been a week past. I go into work and one of our help zones, Jack, he's just like, "Oh, Brandon, I've left my staff card at home. Do you mind letting me into the office?" So I was like, "Yeah, sure. Absolutely no problem at all. I'll do that." So I let him into his office. I was like, "Oh, while you're here, I've got something for you." So he then hands me like a ticket. It just says ticket, and it's got like this like a Microsoft Word art picture of like a beach, and it says, "This is your ticket." And I was like, "Okay, why have I got this?" I turned over, and there's like a message from Lacey saying, "Well, come meet me at the train station after work. Don't worry, I've already packed your stuff for you, and it is in my office. So don't worry about packing anything, everything." But then I was like, "What the hell is she plotting?" Like, I see a picture of a beach. I was like, "But I made a plan this weekend. I was going to do some work this weekend. I was like, oh fuck, I have to." Because in that morning, she also told me to go get some peppers from the shop. So my first reaction was, "What are you plotting?" And I was like, "Oh, it's all explained on the ticket." And I was just like, "Do I still need to get the peppers after work though?" And she was like, "No, you don't need the fucking peppers." So it then later transpired that she bought us a trip for the weekend to go to Brighton. And
Gigax Hotel?
Oh, well, I say a hotel. It's more of a room. So the actual room itself was, you had your double bed and a bathroom. That's it. And obviously,
yes,
I've got something else to say about this room, which was very, very strange.
Why are you talking about a hotel room when you went Brighton?
How many sausage rolls can you fit in it?
You can fit a lot of dozens of sausage rolls in this room. But this is the bit that was really weird. So when you go in, usually when you're in a hotel or room or whatever, you'll have a table, and on it you'll have like a kettle, tea bags, things like that. So I saw this kettle and tea bags. I was like, okay, shall we get a cup of tea? But obviously there's no actual kitchen area, so you've got to use basically sink water to fill up the kettle, which is also a bit weird. But that's not the only thing. So where the kettle was positioned in this room, there's actually no plug sockets there. So essentially what you've got to do is you've got to move this tea making station to where there is a plug, which is literally by your pillow, make this cup of tea next to your bed, and then just move everything back to it. So that was the first night. We got there super late, so first port of call was just go to bed. The walls were paper thin, and we were the first room on the first flight of stairs. So as you go into the hotel, we are the first room. So you can literally hear everything. You can hear people checking in. You can hear all the drunk people getting in late. You can hear our next door neighbours. You could hear everything. So we ended up waking up quite early. So we were like, okay, while we're up early, let's just go on an adventure to Brighton. So as we're walking to the pier, on the beach, I saw this couple on the beach, and they were doing some remarkable yoga. The guy was just laying on his back. He had like a towel over his crotch, and I think his partner was doing like the reverse lotus on top of him. It was, you basically can tell what I mean by this. They were basically fucking on the beach first thing in the morning. Went up to the pier, did our exploring, went to this place called Fat Seagulls. We got a breakfast there. That was amazing. Then we went to the Sea Life Sanctuary, did like a walk around there. Accidentally went into Forbidden Planet because when we was on the way to Brighton, I was reading JoJo's. So I was reading part 2, Battle Tendency. I was reading part 1, and I was reading the second book. And then I also bought Battle Tendency, and I was just like, hang on a minute, something's not right here. The end of the second book, Dan, is where they're fighting Bluefoot and Tarxus. So I was like, hang on a minute, this isn't the end of part 1. So every time I've been into Forbidden Planet, I've only ever seen book 1 and book 2 of part 1. I've never ever seen a book 3. So I was just like, fuck, I need to find the third book. I don't know where it can go. So I went onto Google and I was like, is there a Forbidden Planet in Brighton? And there was. It just so happened to open March that year. So I went into Forbidden Planet, and I may have bought 9 manga by accident.
Yes. Accident.
I bought JoJo Part 1, Book 3. I bought JoJo Part 2, 3 and 4. I bought JoJo Part 3, Book 1. I bought 3 books of My Dress Up Darling. I bought 2 books of Chainsaw Man. And I also got Lazy some stuff as well.
Well, at least you got Chainsaw Man.
Yes, I've got Chainsaw Man 1 to 5 now. And I've also got My Dress Up Darling 1 to 4. And then I've also got
All
a nice section of JoJo.
I know, like, from all I hear about My Dress Up Darling, the manga, is, like, the main character, it's like, must be something wrong with him. Why, the fact that he is not going after Marin. It's got to that point, apparently, in, like, latest chapters where it's like, he is just so that dense that he cannot see her advances. He must not like women. It's that bad of like what is going on here.
I look forward to reading it mainly because I just love their interactions. I just love the story. I love everything about it. I love it to bits.
That's why I'm like, from what I hear, I'm like, how is it that got to that point when like it was so like cozy and nice and enjoyable to be like, wait, they're still dancing around each other, or she's dancing around him. Like what? So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So I'm see, part of me is just like, sometimes like with series, like I don't want to read them until I have enough of the manga to basically complete like the season of anime. So like Chainsaw Man, I think the anime only goes up to book 4, doesn't it?
I believe it's halfway through volume 5.
Yeah, so I've reached the point now with the books where I've completed that part 1 of the anime. So I'd actually be now inclined to like go through the books, but I mean, I'm reading it on my app anyway, so I'm just buying it literally just because I want it, so I can go back onto it later on. But yeah. So
it is.
I accidentally took out a mortgage in Forbidden Planet. I had to carry the books home. That was an absolute effort. Lacey got shat on by a seagull. We nearly got shat on the way back again. There was quite actually. One thing which I'm really surprised about Brighton, I didn't realise all like the shops are sort of underneath the road.
Okay.
Yeah, so like you got like the beachfront, which is like no sand on it, it's just stones. But all along the beachfront, there are like these like archways, and every one of these archways is its own shop. So there's like fish and chip shops. There's like tons of bars and clubs. There's like museums under there, gift shops. There's a surprising amount of anime shops and like that style of like gifts, like plushies and artwork and stuff. I thought that was like genuinely surprising. We went to a bar called Fortunes of War. That was quite expensive. It's like 12 quid for 2 drinks. But the one thing which I will say about Brighton is they really need to sort their traffic light system out. It is fucking dangerous. So, you know, like usually when you get like a pedestrian crossing, there are usually 2 indicators of when it is safe to cross a road crossing, isn't there? Either the red man turns to a green man, prompting you to cross the road, or you'll hear the alarm going beep, 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 and you can cross the road. Yeah, simple enough. For some reason, they don't exist in Brighton. So it's just literally a matter of, okay, I'm looking at 4 different roads of traffic. 2 of them are stopped, but I don't know if the other 2 are going to stop. So you literally make like 1 footstep on the road, and all of a sudden, like you see a car go zooming past. And I was like, "Fuck, this is bad. I don't know when it's safe to cross the road." But yeah, Brighton, hella nice. You know, the city itself is lovely. The beach is all right. If there's a bit more sand, I'll probably enjoy it more. But it's just stone. There was a couple getting married. That was interesting to see. Yeah, check out Brighton. Very, very nice. That was my bizarre adventure.
You know who lives in Brighton?
I know 2 people who used to live in Brighton. It used to be Felix, PewDiePie, and Sean McLaughlin, Jacksepticeye.
Okay.
So yeah, both of those used to live in Brighton, but obviously Felix is now in Japan, and obviously it's only been a matter of time before Jack moves on. Yeah, so that's my adventure. What have you guys been up to?
Well, come on, Chris. You've been quiet.
Yeah, Chris, what's your bizarre adventure?
We know what you're out to talk about.
We know it is.
Well, we've all been on adventures, it seems. So you've been to Snowdon, you've been to Brighton, and I was at a all-day metal festival. But I do have quite a lot to say on that subject, so I think I'm going to hold fire on that until later on.
Okay.
So stay tuned, everyone.
Okay.
In the meantime, though, there was a certain Star Wars show that wrapped up between this and the last episode, Mandalorian. You may have heard of it. It's got people in it. It's great.
Yeah, we did talk about the first episode when it came out.
Yeah, that was Mum's.
Of season 3, I mean. Yes, now it's all done.
Yeah. What are your overall thoughts, Santa?
I guess that kind of... I like the season, but it has its problems. I'll be honest, it had its problems. And I think when it went weird, or when it tried to do things that I don't think it needed to do, it wasn't really that great. But then when it went into its core plot, storylines and plot, especially with all the Mandalorian stuff, it was proper epic and brought the whole brought season 1, 2, and 3 to a really good close. But I think like there is the episode where they go to that world and it has Jack Black and Lizzo are there. Like that episode was just like I don't know. Yeah,
I like that episode.
I think I did it while watching it, but thinking back, I'm like, I don't know about it. Like,
It's kind of got the air of like season 1, where it felt like more Monster of the Week.
yeah,
This series. I mean, the first like episode was like the setup,
yeah,
and then it felt like it was meandering for the most part.
yeah.
And then for like the last 2 episodes, it was like, oh yeah, we've got a plot. Yeah, all of the action like crammed in right at the end.
Yeah.
It's a strange pacing to it, I guess.
Yeah.
But the ones that did deviate, I did enjoy. Like the episode where they took like the ex-Imperial scientist and just like did an episode with him. I thought that was interesting. It shows you more of like what happens with like all the ex-officers now the Empire's down, because they've got to go somewhere.
Obviously, that
fleshes out the universe more.
Yeah, obviously that was setting up like the end of the season, but then nothing came from it anyway, because then what the research that they got in that episode, all of it was destroyed by Din Djarin right at the end, where it's just like, yep, he blows it all up. So it's like, oh. But then I think some people have said, oh, it's meant to also relate to the fact that Palpatine comes back in Rise of the Skywalker, and that's how it's also linked.
It's hinting towards like how the Order came together, isn't it?
Yeah,
which I think is great.
Like I think with like the Empire, especially towards the end, where it introduced in live action Admiral Thrawn. Am I saying? It brought Thrawn to the into live action, kind of. He's still not appeared yet, but he's finally been name dropped in a live action show or a live action Star Wars project. So that's interesting, and I'm assuming because it's been announced now that the Star Wars film that Dave Fillion is going to direct and write or whatever. It's been confirmed it's going to be in like that time period after Return of the Jedi. I can only assume, but then as I say, don't assume because it makes an ass out of you and me, that Admiral Thrawn will appear in that. But I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong.
I have heard of like the upcoming series they've got going. They're going to do, that's one. That they're going to take like them and the Mandalorian and sort of do a series or film out of that, like bring it all together.
Yeah, well that's basically what because as I said before, as you both know, I'm going through Star Wars chronologically, and now I've got to Rebels. I'm not going to talk about Rebels until I finished it, but now I've watched quite a bit of Star Wars in chronological order. Now I can really see that after George Lucas, the big brain, like the next big person who's molded Star Wars is Dave Fillion. Like, he's done so much for the franchise, and what he does is really good. It's not always perfect, but it is very good. He's like the brainchild of the Clone Wars TV show. He's the other half of Jon Favreau with The Mandalorian, and near enough all these other post Return of the Jedi shows, and he's also behind Star Wars Rebels. So he obviously has a lot of really good ideas. So, and most of them people like and they work. So, he was even in the last episode of The Mandalorian, funny enough. He had a cameo right at the end when Din Djarin's in the bar. He's there in the background with his cowboy hat.
Okay.
So.
Has that chap done anything else besides Star Wars? Because obviously I've seen his name in the directors in the credits, but I'm unfamiliar with him otherwise.
I believe he has. I don't know. He was initially an animator on a number of shows, and then since Well, like I said, I've mentioned Clone Wars. I'd completely recommend watching Clone Wars, Chris. And of what I've watched of Rebels so far, completely recommend watching Rebels. Literally anything he touches, Star Wars related, is really good.
Maybe one day, if we ever get the time.
Yeah.
I believe they said they're going to do one more series of Mando, but that's going to tie in with everything else, from what I understand, from what I've read, but it's mostly hearsay. That's what I mean.
It's all been written.
Mm.
Season 4's been completely written. It's been confirmed they're doing a season 4. It's been confirmed it's already written. No idea when it's coming out, what it's about, whatever. But yeah, it's been confirmed.
Oh, good.
Although the ending of season 3 made it feel like that was a series finale. But,
It really did, yeah. He kicked his feet up. It's like, yeah, he's finally got somewhere to rest now. It's like, you done. You took out like what was essentially the big bad of the series. So.
And then it's just, but then, yeah, as I said, they've confirmed season 4. So I'm like, all right, fair enough. Yeah.
I do wonder if it's tying into the upcoming film and the other series. How much of it is? Yeah, I do wonder like how much of it is gonna feel like a Mandalorian, or whether they may make the same mistake as like what they did with Boba Fett, where he's like an extra in his own show if they're building up to a bigger story.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Obviously, I think for me, the star of season 3 was Bo-Katan.
Oh yeah, they're really fleshed out.
And well, and here's another thing, because I've been going through all the Star Wars, and because I've watched the Clone Wars, that's where Bo-Katan first appears. I know a lot more about her. So coming into season 3, into the third season after watching Clone Wars, and this obviously was the season where she got redeemed and all that. I really felt it more than like when she appeared in season 2. I was like, I don't know this fucking character. I don't know. Oh yeah, she's a badass, but I don't know her. I've not watched Clone Wars, but now I'm like, oh no. I was like, she was like the character I was most looking forward to seeing every episode, rather than Din Djarin. Not that I didn't enjoy Din Djarin, it's Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, but Bo-Katan was, for me, the standout star of the show. And so yeah.
See, they spent ages doing all this character development, and for me and my mum, like the funniest part is just Grogu in the robot suit going, no. It's like, you don't need a character development. That's funny enough.
Yeah, ultimately, I enjoyed season 3. I think it's the worst. I think it's the worst season of the 3, but it's still a good season.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree, but it's still good, and the finales.
Oh yeah,
waxed it up a notch.
Oh,
it goes from a sort of average to like an 8. Overall.
Oh yeah, the finale is fantastic.
Yeah, I do like how they deal with Darth Gideon. It's like the bastard. Just go completely overkill.
No, it's.
I don't think he's going to recover from that one.
I don't think so either.
If
he does,
I'll
be surprised.
Yeah, it's Star Wars. I can do anything. Maybe like there'll be like 8 more clones of him knocking around.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Like I said, there were other little things that I clocked watching it, and I was like, oh, that's interesting, but. Yeah, no, it was good. Oh, well, I know, obviously, I don't know if you'll be getting Jedi Survivor at any point.
I plan to at some point, but one, it's EA, and I don't want to give them any money. Secondly, obviously, it's brand new and it's pretty expensive, but I will get it at some point.
Yeah.
I have seen. Sorry,
but this is EA actually being good for once.
Yeah, still doesn't make up for it.
Anyway,
you can go around and kick puppies, but like you give £1 to charity once, it doesn't make you a good person.
Yeah. Well, not as bad as Ubisoft.
None of them had come out looking good.
No.
But yeah, going back on topic. I have seen the launch for this has been completely botched. Like especially on PC, it's like unplayable. It's like the worst PC launch I think since they said like Arkham Knight came out. Completely broken. This doesn't work. And I was saying this several times to my friends on Twitch. It's like they released it like at the end of April. Why don't they just wait 1 week to go bug fixes and release it on the 4th of May, Star Wars Day? It's 1 fucking week. Why?
No idea. No idea.
It makes no sense to anyone, and I don't think I'm the only person to make that take.
Funny enough, there are the second season of Star Wars Visions comes out on May the 4th.
Haven't seen the first one.
I could probably watch it. That'll probably be what I watched on that day. Yeah.
I'll be at work.
It'll be obviously when I'm back from work, but yeah.
So yeah, that was Mando. I do know Jedi Fallen Order is on Game Pass, so more than likely I'll probably just wait till Jedi Survivor comes out on that.
Yeah, I don't have.
If that's on, it's just a waiting game.
I don't have a next gen console, so if it did, I'll get Survivor, but because I can't. But when I do, it will be one of the first games I get, I think.
Oh, hopefully they would have fixed it by now.
Hopefully, yes. To be fair, you say that, I still found Fallen Order very laggy, and the frame rate dropped quite a lot. So even Fallen Order wasn't perfect, but it was
I
still
found that
playable.
as well. Yeah, I thought that would be something that'd be fixed with time, but no, that's never bothered with it. Well, they can't fix the main game because then they're not making DLC, not making microtransactions, are they? Yeah. Anyway, moaning over. So you have also been playing a game. We say like this year's the year of the remakes, and Dan has been playing one, haven't you?
Yeah, funny enough, I've been playing 2 remakes, but I'll talk about the first one that actually did come out this year. I finally, after procrastinating and playing too much Octopath Traveler, I finally played Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp. I've not played loads, but I played a couple hours, probably like 3-4 hours, and it's fun. As you both know, and listeners knows, I have played a lot of Fire Emblem. So playing Nintendo's other strategy game, or not strategy, well, like tactical game, I can see the similarities and the differences, and it's been a fun. I've been having a good time playing it. I think I'm gonna be that person, but I think I prefer Fire Emblem, but as a alternative, it's really fun. The main character is voiced by the woman who does Ash Ketchum in Pokemon. I was like, that's a nice little voice to hear. But yeah, and Advance Wars, I never played the originals, so I don't know how the reboot stacks up against them.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you if you played the original and if you can compare, because I have played the originals, but not for a very long time.
So I don't know. I know people are really liking this reboot. I know that, but I don't know how, like, on a comparison. I don't know.
From what I can gather, it looks almost the same. I imagine they've made a load of quality of life changes, and I believe they've changed one character to avoid some politics, right, in the modern day. But other than that, I think it's relatively the same.
Yeah. On that note, so I started the game up, and obviously you have your little tutorial section. You have your little tutorial campaign. So you do that, and then you actually start the campaign, and it gives you. This is on Advance Wars 1, and I haven't started the second game. On the first game, it gives you like a little background on what's going on, and it goes, oh, these two countries, they've been at peace for a long time, but then out of the blue, the other country starts attacking the other. And then when you actually fight the first enemy commander, their enemy base looks inspired by Russia. And their ability is no. Yeah. I can understand why this game was delayed by 4 months. Yeah, I can understand why this game was delayed 4 months. I can really see it from literally 10 minutes into the game.
It's a temporal, just based on the timing of the release. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's just a shame because of it and that. Yeah. But yes, you are right. They have rewritten a character. I don't know who. I don't know. I might have a look and see which character. But yes, they have rewritten a character because of problems.
Yeah. But we'll let it lie since I'm already banned in Russia. So.
Yeah. But otherwise, like this, like see, I played 4 Fire Emblem games. So playing this is Advance Wars. It's not like Fire Emblem where each unit, every character, you don't want them to die. In Advance Wars, you are gonna lose units, and that's fine. That it's okay to lose units because you can build more. It's half like Fire Emblem, but then half like, I don't know, like Command and Conquer or something like that, where you can.
Yeah, I was going to compare it to that. Yeah.
Like when you get bases, and then I think you can get airports and then docks. You can build tanks, airplanes, helicopters, ships, submarines. So the characters are your commanding officers, and they don't actually have a sprite on your map. They're you just ordering ordering your units. They don't have an actual sprite, a model on the map and you move them. It's just So it's definitely a bit more like it's okay to lose units, and you can with like the tanks you can combine them together, which I've actually not done since I've been playing, which I've just realised. I was like, I've not actually done that since the tutorial, so I might actually do that. But like I said, I've played maybe 7 maps so far, and I'm really enjoying it. The first one is kind of like each map is adding like a new mechanic, and I think in the second game it just doesn't handhold you as much, whereas the first game is a bit more tutorially, or a bit more adding things each time, which is fine for someone who's never played it. But I'm having a good time. It's just something a nice alternative to Fire Emblem.
Good. Yeah. So I have also played another Nintendo title, but before I go on about that, Brandon's been a bit quiet. What have you been doing?
Because
Brandon?
I've literally been up to nothing.
Good answer.
Yeah, I've literally done nothing. Like I went on the weekend out. I've just been reading JoJo's, which we've already spoke about JoJo's before. I literally can't contribute anything. I do apologize. I'm here in my pom poms cheering you both on.
Well, listeners, he's telling a little fib there, because I watched him stream his first attempt at a Yu-Gi-Oh! Speedrun, having been inspired by our last show.
A few weeks ago, I did my actual first ever run off stream, and then I thought, let's just try it as a stream. So I did a stream of using the live split software to do a speedrun of Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories. And I can actually say with due diligence, when you're speedrunning, trying to stream and make conversation with viewers at the same time is a bit stressful at times.
Especially when I'm trying to put you off.
I know, because you were just so entertained by Bean Soldier and my horsefish.
Who isn't?
Tatsuno Otoshi no Ogoto or something like that is the name of it.
No
But
idea.
yeah, I mean, like when I first tried doing the speedrun using the live split software, I did get a bit confused about what buttons I need to press to do the moving of the splits. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's streamer luck, but I got really crazy luck for the first 2 hours of the run. It's a shame that I don't know if I could necessarily like pause runs and then like reopen it at a later date, because obviously I had to cut my stream short, which I was lied to, because I could have streamed for like another half hour, but oh well. But yeah, I want to continue that. Because I was speaking to people about the history of the game and speedrunning strategies and stuff. But I can say, like, if you were to stream run something like a platformer or something which is very like movement intense compared to like this, where there's like a bit of time in between doing things, I can see how streaming and speedrunning at the same time like can cause anxiety. Like it's just like you can't look at your chat, you can't look at your
you can't.
Like you really got to be in the zone. And what doesn't help is that the speedrun for Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories is on average about 6 hours plus. Like for someone who's like just started, like the world record is like just under 2.5 hours. Like, doing like your first speed run. I mean, like I said, it's fortunate it's a game where you can take your time. But if it's something like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Mario, Legend of Zelda, fuck trying to stream that. I haven't got enough patience. I'll stick with my Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories. But yeah, I mean, I guess I did that. That's a thing I did. I've literally played nothing new. I kind of spent money and re-downloaded Sonic Adventure 2. Because I really fucking love that game and I really love the music. I've not even watched anything. I say that, that's a lie. I think it was the last episode, Dan, where we mentioned about the Seed of Fruit of Evolution anime. And I said, like, the comedy in it is great. And I will say the comedy in it is great. Like, comedy's great. But that's it. That's the only selling point it's got. Season 1 introduced you to all the cutesy characters, and they've all got the nice little personalities, which made the anime overall average at best. Probably below average, actually. But then you go into season 2, and fucking hell, it takes such a nosedive. Like, the last few episodes were just so painful to watch, especially the last.
It's an anime where a monkey eats a fucking fruit and turns into an anime girl.
Yeah, that's one of its charms.
I could tell you from the premise, it was never going to be a good anime. It was never going to be one I was going to watch.
I mean, you could say this like same thing about One Piece. Like a man eats a fruit, like
Oi.
the forbidden fruit, and you get stretchy arms.
Yeah, but One Piece is awesome. It's about pirates.
Yeah, this was about anime girls, which is just as good. Oh yeah, speaking of anime girls, I'm calling you out, Chris, for going uwu.
Fuck's Brandon.
What?
Oh, never mind.
What? I didn't say anything, did I?
What's going on?
I don't know. What are you
I
saying?
don't know. Dan just started laughing for no reason.
What are you about to say?
I was just saying, I'm going to call Chris out because as I was streaming Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories, you typed uwu in my chat.
Yeah, as a sort of like cringe joke. It's hard to be sarcastic in chat. It's just, even to the point when I typed it again because I was like, oh, I felt dirty typing that. So when I typed it again, I put an asterisk in it.
Okay, I was wondering where you're going with that.
Yeah, that's all I was doing with that.
Yeah, nothing too bad.
Nothing too bad.
It was entertaining watching you. The entire time I was thinking, what the fuck's going on? I don't know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh!
It is chaotic. It is.
I was like, I assume you're doing well.
Just you wait until you get to the end. So yeah, so viewers, if you want to see the end of it, please watch it. But the very last part of the game is where so much RNG bullshit can happen. Like I can see myself getting really stressed at the end of the speed run. Because the final 6 is like the be-all, end-all of the game. And if you get a really bad run, you'll be stuck there for hours. But if you get a good run, you can do it in about 45 minutes. So
I'm sure being PS1 hardware, there'll be ways to manipulate the AI. Sure there will be. There always is in the older games. It's like play a certain card and the computer just like shits itself and doesn't know what to do.
That's why it comes to the condition of no RNG manipulation. Yeah. So if you go into the game and like do something like the coding stuff, then you can. But the actual game itself is unfair. Like the actual game mechanic is unfair because usually when you play Yu-Gi-Oh, you're meant to have 5 cards in your hand. The very last enemies all have 20 cards in their hands, and they all know what you've got in your hands, and they all know what cards you play face down in the field. They just know everything. So they will just always play like a perfect counter to what you are thinking you're about to do. So the only way you can win is just to brute force and just overpower them. And it's the only way you can win. But if you don't get those cards, you're lost. So like I got like when I was doing the stream, I got very lucky when I was against Pegasus because he didn't draw out his Bakuri box, which would absolutely annihilate me, and he didn't bring out Meteor Black Dragon, which would have completely annihilated me. I got super lucky there.
I just remember, like you mentioned Pegasus, and me and someone else in chat were like, "Hold on, if you say Pegasus, by that logic, that means Hercules is in it, and then that must mean that Danny DeVito is in it from the film Hercules."
I was wondering where the Danny DeVito stuff came in because I was just so confused.
It's like that suggests that. It's
like,
oh.
You and Adrian,
Danny DeVito.
Yeah, I had like no idea what he was on about. I was just so, like I said, I was so busy focusing on what I was doing. Like, I just saw Danny DeVito appear in my chat. I was like, I'm not even going to bother asking. It's just there. I can see Danny DeVito just looking at me.
I would shit bricks if the actual Danny DeVito appeared in chat.
Obviously, he's just one of your emotes. He's just there in my chat. I'm just like, oh, fuck's sake.
So anyway, I started blasting.
Here's something about Danny DeVito.
Yeah,
he should play Wario.
He does look like he'd do a good Wario.
Yeah,
it's been so long since I've seen like a more recent Danny DeVito. I don't know whether he could do. Do you think he's got the right voice for it?
Yes,
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito's got the right voice for it.
He's literally got the haircut and then everything.
No, I just thought Danny DeVito playing Wario. So by logic, Waluigi should be being played by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
What?
Yes.
Make it happen.
Yes.
How did Arnie become Waluigi?
Have you not seen the hit movie Twins?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, there you go.
The old 80s film where Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger were twins, and the joke you're thinking of is the main joke of the film.
Oh, good God.
It's amazing.
I literally see Arnie and Danny DeVito just
watch it, dude. It's a fucking riot.
Well, kind of going back, Chris.
Yes.
Your reboot, the game you've been playing.
Yeah. Actually, very quickly while on about Reboot, apparently they're going to remake Twins, but I hope that doesn't happen.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
True. Anyway, yes. Let's bring it back. So I played a remake. Thanks to my niece who lent me this game, so I could stream it. So thanks, Abby. Yeah, I've been playing Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, which I know came out a little while ago, but I never saw the need to buy it because it is, in essence, a remake of Red and Blue, but with more like Pokemon Go implemented features. And I thought, yeah, I don't want something that feels like a mobile game, right? And a remake of a game that I already love. I just didn't see the point, you know. But since I've been lent it, it's like, yeah, go on then, I'll give it a go. And I have some thoughts. I'm not sure where to start. As overall, the basic structure is the same. It is Red and Blue. The map layout's the same. There's slightly different story beats. It's the same plot, but it's got like a sort of weird timeline thing because the plot is like the same. Like you're the trainer, you got the guy next door who's your rival, but it's not like Red and Blue. Like you're established to be completely different characters, and this cemented in by the fact that you go to the first town and you bump into Blue, who's already established to like be a champion. But then everything else still takes place. You've still got Team Rocket in it, doing the Rocket Hideout and Silphco. So it is like a retread. It's kind of a weird continuity thing. It's almost like a soft reboot. But I do like some of the writing in this. Your rival in it isn't an arse. He's kind of more like, I suppose, like Hop from like the newer games. He's buddy. He's like, he wants to be a friend. He wants to see you do well. And I actually like one of the things they do with him. Like, because you know, like you have your rival and they've got their team throughout the entire game.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's seemingly random what they've got. But they do, they flesh out his character a little bit and explains like why he's got one or two of the Pokemon. Like obviously he's got his starter, which will be like the opposite to what you've got. So I've got Eevee, so he's got Pikachu, because that's the other game title. But later on, it takes like cues from the story of the first game. So prime example for it is Lavender Tower. You know, you have the bit with the Cubone looking for its mum Marowak. Well, your rival adopts the Cubone. So later on, he's got that in his party. That's part of his formation. I just think that's good writing. He's like, yeah, that makes sense. It ties in and it explains why he's got it and why you're fighting it. So yeah, that's pretty good. Well done, game. Have a point. They make Team Rocket to be a bit more competent in this one as well. Like the grunts actually try and stop you rather than just tell you codes and passwords. One chap even like who you meant to get the lift key for in the game corner in the Rocket Hideout actually like throws it away and go, "Ha, who are you? You're not getting the lift key now." And there's a very short segment where you take control of Eevee, not your character, and like have a little run around to go through like event system and pick it up, which I feel is a good thing because I thought, that makes the partner dynamic feel a bit more fleshed out. But at the same time, it's never used again. I was like, are we going to do this again in Silphco? Like make it feel like more like an infiltration thing, like do a bit of Metal Gear Solid, well, Metal Gear Eevee, I suppose. get his little Solid Snake jumpsuits on because you can change his costume in there. It's like, that'd be great. But no, it's only used once and never brought up again. So I was like, missed opportunity. I feel.
Yeah, when you
would have made
it, I was like, I bet it's like a one and done thing, and it's never. Done
yeah,
again.
It really is. It's literally only lasts like a minute. It's like, I mean, it is good, but I just wish they'd used it again at some point.
I've got a question.
Would have been like, yeah.
Can you evolve Eevee?
You cannot. No, it just refuses it because they kind of act like Pikachu did in Pokemon Yellow. He's like, and it follows you around. And
can you get another Eevee?
I never found one. If you can, I don't know how. I don't know. Well, you can catch Pikachu, so I guess the only way you get more Eevee is to catch them in Let's Go Pikachu and transfer them over.
You said that. Now that makes me want to get Let's Go Pikachu over Let's Go Eevee because I was initially going to get because I have not played it and I want to get Let's Go Eevee because Eevee's cooler than Pikachu. But if you can't evolve Eevee,
yeah, that is a problem.
It's like why would you have Pikachu when you can evolve Eevee into a better electric Pokemon?
Yeah, absolutely.
Jolteon is my favorite Gen 1 electric Pokemon. So, yeah.
It's not like you miss Raichu in the first place, do you? Like, you get the gimmick of when you fight Surge, but after that, that's it.
Jolteon's better. Like, stat-wise, Jolteon's better than Raichu. Like, Raichu's still good, but Jolteon's just better.
Well, it's kind of negated in this game. Like, I'll explain why. So, one thing I don't like about this, and they're all sort of stem from the same problem, but you've got Eevee in your party, as you like the Pikachu. You cannot remove him. He will not move. Like, you're stuck with him. So that kind of like ruins, if you wanted to do like a Nuzlocke, say, it's like, oh, you can't do it because you got Eevee no matter what. And you can't do like a mono type run or anything apart from normal types.
But you could, but you'll be limited to 5.
Yeah, but you still got Eevee in your party. You can't get
You
it.
just don't use them. That's what I mean. Like, you're just limited to 5 rather than 6.
Yeah, doesn't work like that.
Why?
Because you've got a new party. He's also your HM slaves, and he's also needed for plot progression.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Just keep him in your party. Just have him as your HMs. Well,
You still
obviously have him as a
use
HM slave, but also get your other people with the HM in it.
Only Eevee learns HMs, and they're not HMs in this game. They're like skills that he has. Like he learns all like surf and all that stuff. It's all tied to Eevee.
So other Pokemon can't learn surf or whatever?
No.
Really? Not even like Gyarados?
They can get the TM for it, but it doesn't work. It doesn't have like any overworld effect.
Okay, so essentially you're still limited to 5 Pokemon then. So that's fine.
Yeah. But you still have to use Eevee in battles to progress. It takes away a lot of challenge, which kind of sucks. Because I'm replaying it again. Like I've done the whole full playthrough already, and I'm replaying it for the Switch. But it feels quite samey, even with a completely different party. Because what they do with Eevee is completely like wacky stats way up, so he's always like relevant. And there's like a lot of items that are dedicated just to powering him up, like Eevee candy, which is where like the sort of Pokemon Go sort of stuff starts to come in. You're just feeding candy, like rare candies, to just level him up. There's certain spots in the game that'll increase like your friendship value by just like interacting with stuff and a lot of things, because this game feels like it really holds your hands, like it's genuinely made for like first timers. Because once your friendship level starts to increase, and it will, if people try to attack your Pokemon, sometimes their moves will just miss due to the power of friendship, like they just won't hit you outright. Or if they do get you will survive on 1 HP, because it says, oh, they hang in there because they don't want to disappoint you. And so much so, like, even if they get hit with status ailments, they can just like shake them off. It's like, oh, he didn't want to disappoint, so he's no longer got paralysis. So it's like, do you not want me to lose this game? Like, and another couple of things. If say like you want to do a Nuzlocke, it's like not doable, because some of the gyms require you before you can even take on the gym like you normally would. They actually require you to be at a certain level. To fight Misty, you have to be a level 15. To fight Sabrina, you have to be a level 45 at least. They won't let you go on otherwise.
No.
And to fight Brock, you need to have a water or grass type in your team. You have to like show it to the guy at the door to get in. And the most annoying one, to fight Koga, the 5th gym, you need to have caught 50 Pokemon. It's like, oh, you've only got 45 species. Is that not good enough? Go back and catch 50. Which at that point in the game is like a third of the Pokédex. So that's like nearly everything you've seen up to that point. So you've only got like wriggle room for like, I think about 5 or so that you can miss. And going on to battles, like, there's no random encounters. Like everything's on the overworld, like Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah.
But you don't fight them. It's just like purely like the Pokemon Go mechanic. You just throw a ball at them, throw a berry at them, catch them that way, and you get experience that way. And it's got like experience share turned on. I don't think there's any way to turn it off, like the Diamond and Pearl remakes.
You
so you catch Pokemon.
Scarlet and Violet either.
No, you can't. At least last I played, I don't know if it may have been patched since.
No.
No. Okay.
Why did they add these mechanics? I know it makes it accessible to like younger kids.
That's exactly the point. That's exactly the point. That's why it's so easy.
It's
say
what you're gonna say.
No, go on. I was trying to think one.
Oh, just like, despite the fact that most of the people that play the Pokemon games are people in their late 20s, 30s, it's still
someone's saying that. Someone's saying that about the Mario film. It's like, oh, we're doing it for kids. It's like, yeah, the whole audience is for the people in the 40s.
It's like that little kid wouldn't know what fucking Kid Icarus is, but I know.
They've never played F-Zero in their lives.
They don't know Wrecking Crew.
Yeah, they don't recognise a Star Fox at all. I think kick them in the nuts.
It is a shame, but it's the fact that they don't give you the option to like turn these like assisted things off.
No, I don't think the option should be there.
System, for example.
Yeah,
and it's because of these reasons. Why still? Why I think Gen 5 is the peak of Pokemon. It's because of these reasons. Gen 5 was the last time that Game Freak, it felt like Game Freak gave a fuck about their Pokemon, where they went balls to the walls and they made it hard, they made it easy. If you wanted it, you could. It felt like the last time Game Freak actually gave a fuck.
Yeah, black and white felt nice.
Black and white too. But that's just my opinion.
I could definitely tell like XY felt a bit easy, and then Sun and Moon, I don't even want to touch ever again.
I keep trying to replay Sun and Moon, but I get about half hour in. It's like, oh Christ, just let me play the game. And I just give
It's
up
a lot of talking. I just don't like the mechanics of it.
It's literally hours. It's like to do anything.
Yeah, I think it took me it must have been like an hour or two just before I even got to like the first Pokemon Center. You know, I was like, I can't believe it's taken me this long to get to a fucking Pokemon Center.
Yeah, it's like, I can finally catch Pokemon. What can I catch? It's like, yeah, you can catch like 2 Pokemon. Actually, going back to Eevee, one really random thing in it is I bought some like new controllers because like my Joy-Cons got drift, so I finally bought some new ones. And funnily enough, I bought some Pokemon ones, and they're really nice, like detachable ones. But because I've done that, I started playing it in handheld mode, and I got on fine. Like you can use a sort of gyroscope to like catch your Pokemon. As I say, it's like Pokemon Go, so you like move it around. But you don't have to do that. You can just use the analog sticks and move your cursor around that way. Perfectly fine. For some reason, when I dock it, it will not allow me to use like a controller I've got for it. It insists I use the Joy-Cons or I have to either use the Joy-Cons, have it in handheld mode, or use the special controller that was like Pokeball controller just for like Pokemon Eevee. But yeah, it will not let me use a controller, and I fail to see why, because all it's doing is the exact same thing I would do if I had it in handheld mode, and you don't need to use the gyroscope. I'm not doing it when I'm doing motion controls. But at the minute, on the motion controls, when I've been playing it, because of how my setup is, I'm not like flat with my screen. My screen's to an angle. So for motion controls, it makes it very awkward because I'm not facing it directly. But I've found I don't really need to aim at all. I've had better luck aiming like away from the TV and tilting my little Joy-Cons, and that seems to work absolutely fine. So like accuracy is not an issue. The only problems I've had is like trying to go sideways, but for going straight on, it's fine. So I don't know if the motion controls are broken or what, because it's really hard. But I mean, it seems like it feels fine. It's just aiming doesn't seem to be a factor. It's like just tilt the Joy-Con up. The game will do the rest for you. If it made it feel like you had to be like ultra accurate, like you were actually throwing a Pokeball, that would have been it would have made the game harder, yes, but it would have made it feel slightly more realistic. Made it feel like I'm actually throwing a Pokeball at the thing. If I miss, it's on me. But no, you literally just like flick the Joy-Con, boom, you're done. You're done. Yeah. But as I say, Let's Go Eevee, it is essentially just a remake of Gen 1, but with some things I like and some things I dislike. Wow, is that an overview? Oh, one thing that really annoyed me. I was looking forward to getting to Fuchsia City because that's where the Safari Zone is. Safari Zone's not in it. Instead, they've replaced it with like some multiplayer lobby thing for like Pokemon Go. Yeah, for like your mobile games, so you can like all hang out. It's like online. It's essentially just like a park, so you can interact with other people. It's like there's no Safari Zone. It's like, you what? I wanted to go there. I was looking forward to that. I like Safari Zone. It's a bit of a pain in the bum when you like play it again and again, but I thought, oh, new gen, that'll be fun to walk around.
So
it's always exciting just to getting a load of Pokemon in one go.
How do you get those Pokemon?
They're just sort of scattered across routes, as you would expect. So Kangaskhan, like execute, just knocking around. There is one thing though I don't know about. If you go to the game corner, you can't gamble there anymore.
Yeah. Oh, that's. Yeah, I'm not surprised about that. They stopped that.
I understand.
They stopped that ages ago.
Yeah, I understand why that's been taken out, but I have absolutely no idea how you get pouring on. I don't know if you just talk to an NPC, because you can get like Cypher and Pinsir from there. And in both my playthroughs, I've not come across any of them.
Don't forget Dratini as well.
Yeah. Well, I've seen Dratini in game, but I don't know where the hell the other ones are. I don't think I've seen a Pinsir or Cypher at all.
Usually they're in the Safari Zone.
That's what I mean. Yeah, normally they are. I mean, I'm guessing they're just in the route, and I just haven't seen them because it's just rare, because they just pop up.
Have you fought any as part of trainer battles?
No, I genuinely can't remember seeing one at all. There must be in there, but
unless they're in Let's Go Pikachu.
Yeah, possibly, but wasn't Pinsir a Blue exclusive and Cypher a Red exclusive?
I don't know.
There's still that going. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I mean, I'm not bummed out about the gambling gaming corner because I never did it anyway. I always thought it was tedious, and I'm not a fan of it anyway. And I totally understand why that's not in it. But then,
so it's the Team Rocket based underneath.
Yeah, that's still there. That still plays out the same. And Jesse and James pop in occasionally as well, just like Yellow. So they're still there. They took out the game corner because they don't want kids gambling. But if you want to do all the features, you've got to download the app and buy in-app purchases. So yeah, and buy the extra controllers. So yeah, that's a bit weird, isn't it? We've got to make money somehow. oh wait, it still costs the Earth to buy anyway. Hey ho. Yeah, if I was gonna say, if you see it cheaper, then pick it up because it's still worth playing. It's still a good time for the even with all the nitpicks. It's still Pokemon, and I have enjoyed it because I want to stream it again after I finished it. I'll go, that was pants. I don't want that. And no, I've had fun playing it. The core gameplay is still there. I was gonna say pick it up cheap, but it's Nintendo. They never come down in price.
Yeah.
If you see one in the charity shop, snap it up.
Yeah, I want to play it, but I'm not going to spend a ridiculous amount of money on it.
Yeah, as I say, it's only because I've been fortunate enough to be loaned it that I'll play it at all. I think once I'm done, that's it. Like 2 playthroughs, I think that's enough. So I'm doing a normal type only run because that's like the only real challenge I can do with it. And I'll be honest, it's mostly just the Eevee show because Eevee's completely overpowered. It's in your first team slot, you use it every time, and there's like a move tutor that teaches it moves, and all the moves are 100% accurate, have 90 base power, and they always, without fail, do a status effect. So if you use like the electric move, it will always paralyze. If you use the fire move, always burns, and so on. Completely OP.
On that note, I have a question because I actually did pop into your stream earlier. I didn't actually say anything in the chat, or I didn't even put anything towards your read only challenge. I forgot. But you were fine the R box, and you really confused me. So Eevee was poisoned, and you stayed in, attacked, and then Eevee died. And I was like, why didn't you switch to your Snorlax so that Eevee would survive?
Doesn't really matter. So I'll be honest, if I'm reading chat half the time, I'm just smashing the A button. I'm not even paying attention.
I didn't write it in chat, but I just watched and you like, oh, Eevee's poisoned, he'll die.
I'll tell you why. It's because of what I stated earlier, where sometimes because of friendship, it'll just shake poison off. So I just left it in on the chance it to say, oh, it just miraculously recovered.
Oh, right. Okay, that makes sense. But I think, because I didn't realise, while watching it earlier, I was like, why have you just let Eevee die while he was poisoned? Why didn't you just switch? Okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah. And I also got the water move, which essentially acts like Mega Drain. I thought if I get low on health, I'll just spam that and then get my HP back.
Fair enough. Yeah.
That's why.
I actually... sorry, guys. I actually have played another remake. It's quite a few years old now. It's by the same company that did the Demon Souls remake, funny enough. I've started playing Shadow of the Colossus, the remake, though. I've got the original, but I've not played it, and now I'm playing the remake.
Yeah, I did see your post saying like you got the original. I was like, you just played the remake because there's like no real reason to play the original.
No, I've only done 3 Colossi, but I'm really liking it. I got really confused by how to control my horse initially because it's not the most simple controls to control your horse. But now that I know, I'm like okay. I'm much more comfortable exploring that beautiful world. The game looks incredible.
Oh yeah, a lot of people like praise it for the story and the looks. But for me, I've played it and it's a one and done. It's like, yeah, it looks nice. Yeah, the plot's all right, but I didn't like the way it controlled myself.
I'm not going to say
it's like,
so I'm not very far. I've only done 3 Colossi out of like 16 or something like that. So I'm not even halfway, not even a quarter. But I'm enjoying it. I like how each boss is essentially a puzzle in itself. It's not just, oh, do this, right, dead, right, okay, move on. It's like here, essentially each boss is its own puzzle that you've got to work out. Right, how the fuck do I climb up? How do I do this? How do I get to this? Its weak point. The weak point's gone. Where is the next weak point? How do I get to that? Am I going to get shaken off? The third one was the one the third Colossus I got really stuck on for ages, and then after about 20 minutes, I finally worked out what I was meant to do, and I was like, right, okay. I had a feeling it was what I need to do because it's the one where it has the sword and it brings it down. You have to bring it down on the little like metal thing, and then it breaks the armor. It kept coming down on like not on the metal thing, and I was like, oh. And then I climb up, and then I was like, well, where the fuck do I go from here? But like I said, I'm not very far, but I'm enjoying it. I need to play more this week. Yeah. I will try. But yeah.
Here's the thing with Shadow Colossus, and I know it's been brought up numerous times, how it's like big and open, but there's not much to actually find in it. I mean, the remake actually added stuff because it's like they've got to put something in there.
Yeah.
And I feel it's more for spectacle, like to like at the time push the power of the PS2.
Yeah.
And give like some weight of scale to the Colossi to like emphasize just how big they are. And but I do wonder if the game would have been better paced if they had like big open areas, but not like the big open world. Just like say, for the most part, keep it on the linear path because you only fight the Colossi in order anyway. Like just having a linear path, and then when you get closer to the Colossi, then it opens up a bit, but more like a sort of big boss arena. You still have the sense of scale, but the whole area is just for you to fight that one Colossi in. Like, I don't know, like a desert scape or something. Or like the big water temple.
Yeah.
That's just me spitballing. Because if they didn't add like the collectibles, because I've only played the remake, I've not played the original. I do wonder if I'd have played the original, how much of I feel like I would have just wasted my time. It's like, oh, I've climbed all the way up this cliff, and feel like it took me like 20 minutes. There's nothing here. It looks pretty. That's it.
I don't know. It's one of my friends. It's his favorite game. So when I told him soon after I'd decided to play it. I told him he's very excited to hear that I was playing it. And yeah, I am enjoying it. I see I'm not very far, so I don't really. It is a good game. I'm just not that far. So, but it is good. Blue Point, they know how to make remakes. They know what they're doing with remakes. Apparently, they're remaking Metal Gear Solid 1. I don't know if that's been confirmed, but rumor has it that's their next game.
Oh, that will be interesting. I do like the Metal Gear Solid games. I'm not like a mega fan, but I have played them all. So I'll be quite excited to see what the remake of the first one will be like.
The first one's already been remade, so it'd be a remake. I don't know if it'll be. I think it'll be a mixture of the two. I think they'll. I don't know. They'll probably do it a bit more like. I could see that having more influence of the original than the remake, but then still having a bit of the remake as well. I don't know. I don't know if that makes. I don't think that makes sense, but I kind of know what I kind of mean. But I don't think I made it. I think I went in Dan mode where I say stuff and it kind of doesn't make sense.
I mean, I do wonder if they remake it, like how many of the game mechanics will change, because there's a lot of things in Metal Gear Solid that are like used once and then never used again.
Yeah,
or
like
feel a little bit gimmicky.
A bit like, is it the missile where you like guide it and you don't really do that again? Or do you?
Yeah, you use it for like one boss fight.
Yeah.
And then you got other like the infamous card puzzle with like the temperature check. That was just a pain in the ass, no matter how you shake it. So if they take like this sort of use the sort of same basis for the puzzle but completely change how it's done, I think it benefited massively. And I don't think the weight of a Psycho Mantis reading your memory card will be as impactful as it once was.
I wonder how that'll be the thing of like how, especially with modern consoles, like how do you get by that? Well, on the PS3 you just change. You go on to like your controller thing and you just switch it to controller 2, 3 or 4. That's how you get by it on with a PS3. So I don't know how it will work on. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, power's limited. It was a Psycho Mantis. It's like if he's got all your online details, with like your PlayStation account or whatever, it's like, I see you haven't bought the DLC. What are you doing?
Funny enough, when I went on to Advance Wars, I started booted up and goes, "Hello, Dan." I was like, "How the fuck does this game know my name's Dan?" And then I realised, I bet. And then when I thought about it, I was like, "Oh, I'm on my account. That's called Dan. I'm pretty sure it's that." But it was a bit of a like, what the fuck is going on here? So I bet if you had it, it'd be like, "Hello, Spanky." It's like, it's because my account on my Switch is called Spanky. I don't know if it actually is. I'm just saying,
Yeah, I've got to be careful on my Switch ones because I've got my own one. I've got the Chris one, and then when I'm live, I've got it on the Spanky account. Yeah. I don't want my name on there.
Yeah, I mean, I was just, I literally went on. I was like, what? But yeah, I wonder if I don't know what they'll do with Psycho Mantis if that is the case. I think Sanguinary Mantis would be the thing I would be most interested to see how it works in another reboot of Metal Gear Solid 1. Yeah, Shadow of the Colossus. Yeah. Good, beautiful remake. Good game so far. Yeah. We'll continue to play.
Yeah. I was going to say a quick note about my my big day out, but I think I can keep it pretty brief because I do actually have one more thing. One more game I want to talk about, which I completely forgot about. Have either of you guys played Ghostwire Tokyo?
Nope. I know of it though.
No, well, it's been added to like the PlayStation Plus, so I've gave that a go because I thought, oh, this looks like it might be interesting. It's made by Bethesda and TA Studios, who are the same people behind the Evil Within and Hi-Fi Rush. I thought, well, I really like both of those games. I thought I'd download this and give it a try. And I'm several hours in, and it is like a sort of open world, first person collectathon combat thing. It takes like elements of like games like Prey with like some parkour stuff, like a little bit like Dying Light, I suppose, could relate it to as well. And honestly, it's aggressively average. Like everything you feel like you do is like, I've done this but better in every other game. Like there's just different types of collectibles, so you always type of things. It's like there's like treasures to find, there's souls to find. The one thing that annoys me with one on these souls is, firstly, in game there are 200,400 souls to find, so that's going to keep you busy. They are like grouped together in like 10s, 20s, that kind of thing, but there are a hell of a lot, like ridiculously. Even breaking it down as like, yeah, there's still like 20,000 to find or something ridiculous. Like, good lord. And what one of the upgrades you can get for your skills is just collect them faster. Because like you hold down a button. But yeah, if you needed a skeleton like that, maybe you should have scaled it back a bit. And just to make it ever so more annoying, to collect them, you need to like use an item. And if that gets full because you've collected too many souls, you can't pick any more up. So if you get into an area and like there's several around there, but you've just spent like a couple of minutes parkouring your way up there, and you can collect a couple, but you've no longer got any space, you got to do it again, which is annoying. And there were basically like a telephone kiosk. You can empty these things out. I suppose it's a bit like a ghost trap from Ghostbusters. You unload it and then you go out again. You can expand it later on, but it feels like, why do I have to do this? Can I not just collect the souls and done? It just feels like busy work that shouldn't be there. The combat itself is fine. You've got like, at least as far as I've got, you've got like 4 ways of attacking. You've got like 3 elemental skills, like you got wind, fire, and water. And each of them acts differently. Like wind's like a fast firing projectile, fire's like a AoE, heavy damage explosion, and water's like a sort of short shock wave. And you've got like a bow and arrow as well. And they're all serviceable, but none of them feel like they've got any weight behind them whatsoever. Everything like feels like you're hitting things with a wet noodle. And the enemies seem to take a lot of hits to take down, especially early game. It's like I've shot this thing like 15 times and it's still coming towards me. Like, piss off. You can upgrade it later on, but I've only got to a point in the game where I've started to find like extra equipment, which I didn't even realize was in the game. It's like, oh, I've been playing this for like several hours and now I've got like another collectible upgrade thing. So thanks, game. Now I've got to keep an eye out for those as well. You got your souls, you get XP when you level up, so you got an experience system. You got food which you eat, which heals you and increases your maximum HP. So honestly, it feels like I should deliberately take damage so I can heal and increase my max HP at the same time. It's strange. Like, it doesn't do anything terrible, but nothing's done really well either.
I mean, one thing I hear is like the reimagining, or like the way it's brought certain things, certain places from Tokyo into the game that you can explore is really cool.
Yeah, it looks nice. I don't know how accurate it is to Tokyo. Maybe it's pretty accurate. I wouldn't know. But yeah, your main enemies are like sort of essentially yokai.
Okay.
So if you like stuff like Neo, you might recognize some of the enemy types, but they're obviously different games, so they look different. But I've not noticed that big of a difference in like enemy variety. I seem to have fought the same kind of enemies several times, like quite a lot. There have been like some variation, like some of them are like different colors, so it's like, oh, it's just that enemy, except now I'm resistant to fire, like that kind of deal. So yeah, I'm not going to say like there's not a load of enemy variety, because I don't think I'm far enough into the game to stay otherwise. But even now playing it, I feel like I'm probably not going to finish this game. I'll probably pick it up and play it like here and there for like 10-15 minutes while I'm waiting for something else to download, and then put it back down again. So I'll see. It'll either be that, or I'll just do the main storyline and just ignore like literally all the collectibles unless I'm going past them. And just try and get the game done. Because as I say, there's so many collectibles in it. It'd be like forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, you sounded like you were going to say something else there then.
No. Well, no. I think the only thing I was going to say was that I remember watching the trailer for it and it looked really cool. But then I've heard every review or every podcast I've heard about it. It's just been, yeah, it's kind of fine. Yeah.
That's my line. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say it's slightly less than fine.
Yeah.
It's like I want to like this game, but I'm just not feeling it. You know, it feels like all the sorry, yeah. Try again. So it feels like all the elements are there, like especially like since the actual weapons are elements. But like it's got things there. It's like this should be good, but it's not. I think like getting around feels a little bit clunky, but there's like skill trees to like increase like your mobility and getting around and that. So I think that'll be negated the more you play it. But to start with, it feels a little bit finicky. I found I don't feel like I'm going as fast as I should be. There's a couple of points where I've had to like run down long roads, and it's like this seems to be taking a while. It's just gonna be taking this long, surely. Am I missing a trick? And maybe I am, but yeah, that's how I played it, and that's how I found it. So yeah, Ghostwire Tokyo. Give it a look. I mean, it's not terrible. It's just not fantastic either.
And it's just your last thing to talk about.
Yeah, your bizarre adventure. Tell us more.
Yeah, well, it's not really bizarre. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's not bizarre.
So yes, yeah. Well, so I went to Metal Festival this weekend. I went to Uprising 6, and I'm just going to say the same kind of thing. I've seen a couple of reviews, like independent reviews of Uprising, and basically everyone said it was a really positive atmosphere, and people have like these reviews are like traveled down to London, said they really enjoyed it and they want to come back to it on that alone. That's before you even talk about the bands. And I've been to every Uprising because it's a local festival to Leicester, and this year they've had it at the O2, so they've had it for the O2 like 3 years now, and they did 3 years at De Montfort Uni. So Uprising. So give you an idea of the kind of bands you're into. The lineup this year: the headliners were Paradise Lost, Combi Christ, Saw, Palm Reader, Boss Keloid, Scarlet Riot, Damien, Hawks, Pretty Addicted, Internal Conflict, Recording Remains, Blood Oath, Master Charger, Muddy Brook, Feral States, Lowen, and then we had a thing called Metal to the Masses, where you have like more local bands compete to play at Bloodstock, and they were Running with Knives, Inflictions, Voidwalker, and Loach, which Voidwalker won. I've got to be honest, bar one band, which I spoke to before with the podcast to Dan, every band were great. In fact, even the band that I wasn't a huge fan of still had its fans, so it's just not for me, I guess. I don't want to play favorites and like pick out like who I thought was really good, but honestly, going in, I didn't really know a couple of bands, bar like Internal Conflict and Blood Oath, because they're friends of mine. So, but I was really impressed with everyone who played. Paradise Lost, the headliners, again, didn't know anything by them, and yet I found myself humming a couple of their songs. So they've definitely made some impact on me. Yeah, it was a weird day. Like we got there, the doors were at 12:30. We turned up slightly later than that because my taxi was running late, but it kind of ended up in our favor because we just walked straight in. We just had the tickets, straight in, and we did miss the beginning of Voidwalker, but for a strange reason. Not because we were running late. It's because we got into the main arena, because it's like the first room you come into, like the main arena. And there was a band on stage just setting up. And we thought that's the first band, so we started watching them. But it was just a sound test. But they did play a song in full, and it turned out that band was Paradise Lost. They were the headliners, so we got to see them where like the room only had like a handful of people in it because it's like early doors. So like, they were good. It's like over there, and it's like, I think that's Voidwalker, and then they just went on stage. It's like, that's not Voidwalker. And then we went into like the second room, and Voidwalker in there, and the room was packed. It's like, okay. But yeah, we did manage to catch about 3 or 4 songs by then. And they were decent. Like everyone we've seen was great. No misfires at all. Master Charger were really good. Really enjoyed them. Muddy Brook, hadn't heard of them. Enjoyed them. Scarlet Riot, we've seen on the main stage. We actually sat down for that because I had my dad in tow the entire time. And he's not as young as he used to be, but I've got to say the same thing. Neither am I. They played about 5:30, and I was up early. I was up at like 7 a.m. and saw the all-day festival. And we seemed to have a slump about 5 o'clock. It's like we sort of like sat down, like we needed a cup of tea and that. It's just like, why do we feel really tired at like 5 o'clock? It's like, we haven't got the energy like we used to. And but then like we had a cup of sit down for like 5 minutes, watch Scarlet Riot. Then we went to see Master Charger, and they were high energy, like sounded kind of like Motorheady. And I think think that just invigorated us. Like, second wave, let's go. We can win. We've got this. And yeah, it's just a great time because I managed to see so many people I haven't seen. Well, I rarely go out now because I'm always working. So I think I've only been to like one gig since Uprising last year. So it's like nice to see all the people I haven't seen for a full on year. And there was so many good people out there. Everyone's in a good mood. I didn't see anyone falling out and no arguments, nothing like that. And a festival, you're going to see someone kicked off, but everyone's really friendly. That's to say, like the atmosphere was really positive. Everyone was just having a good time. And I've seen like people like knocking other people's drinks over by accident as it happens, but everyone's like, oh no, don't worry about it. We're good. We're friends here. And it's just a fantastic atmosphere to have. Like even like this year, they've added an extra stage, so there were 3 stages, but it was staggered in a way. Bar 1 or 2 bands about midday. About partway through the day. No one really like clashed. It was like someone's playing on the second stage. When they finished, there'll be someone playing on the main stage, and then just while they'd set up, and that just ran out for the entire day. So if you want to see everyone, you pretty much can. The only bands I miss were Pretty Addicted and Damning about halfway through the day, because that's when they had a little bit of an overlap. But for the most part, we did chill outside for a bit, chatting away, so we probably missed a little bit just for that. But we never stayed out for too long. We stayed out for like 20 minutes at a time just to get some air. And the weather was actually nice. Can you believe? Bank holiday with nice weather the one day I go out, which is strange because the forecast said it was going to piss it down and it didn't. I took like a heavier jacket and was like, yeah, I didn't need this. I can actually see myself tanging a bit. It's strange. Yeah. So yeah, really well organised. It was only 35 quid for a ticket, and for an all-day metal festival, that's in peanuts. So I just got to take the hats off the organisers, Resin Events. They did really well, and it is the best festival I've been to. Like every year, it's either as good as or better than the one previous. So if you got 35 quid burn your hole in your pocket and you want to see some really good bands, Uprising 7, that's be May next year. Come on down, I'll be there. I've got my early bird ticket already. I'm set. I want to go again. I want to go for my 7th time. As good as things like as download are, I'm done with camping and I don't like traveling anyway. So just having this festival on my doorstep is beautiful, fantastic. So yeah, 10 out of 10 will Uprise again.
Well, you also got, obviously, it's very different. They've also got Handmade Festival in Leicester, which is the other big. Well, it's not as big as it used to be, but it's the other big music festival that they have on like a one-day thing.
I've never been to that, so I can't compare.
Yeah, it used to be far bigger, because if you go into Firebug, it has all the old posters for all the old lineups for each one. It has some really cracking acts, but yeah, now like I looked at this year's and I recognised no one. I was like, oh, okay. But I went to one of them and it was a good day. Saw some really good bands, but yeah, it's not the same anymore. It's a shame, but
yeah. See, the good thing about going to festivals and you don't know any of bands. It's always nice to discover a band. Because going into this year, I knew like 3 bands. That's it. The rest, no idea. And I've come away with like being a fan of like everyone I've seen.
Well, yeah. I'm glad you had a good time, Chris. Like I'm like in your, I'm like completely the same. I'm kind of done with camping. That's why I'm not going download this year. Just can't be asked. Can't be asked.
When you think like it costs hundreds of pounds to do that, to sit in a muddy field, and all the bands only play like 40 minutes. For the amount of effort and how much it costs. Yeah, I'm sure you'll have a good time.
Yeah,
but I'm sure you'd rather see all the bands you want to see condensed into one day when it's well organised and you can go home at the end of the night for 35 quid.
I don't know. I like the atmosphere. I like being outdoors.
You're still young, you see. You're still young.
But it is possibly going to be my last one for a long time.
I just can't be asked. I just can't be asked to lug a whole big bag of stuff to a campsite, then go back to the car, get another load, and I might have to go up a big hill, and the trek to the campsite would be ages. I say this all, and then I'm going.
You say this, but you're doing 3 peaks.
Yeah, but the 3 peaks is a bit different because what I'll have in my bag will just be for that mountain. Like I took up to the top of Snowdon with me on Saturday, nearly 4 litres of liquid, or mostly water, and then I had some Lucasade. I hardly drank any of it because I just didn't feel I needed to. So I lugged like 4 liters of water for no reason. But the thing is, I had it just in case. What if I desperately needed 4 liters of water, or I had it? So, yeah, I can't be arsed with festivals anymore.
Yeah, I think me and you are in the same boat. I mean, I've done Download like 7 times. I've done Reading. I've been to London for High Voltage in 2012. Actually, High Voltage was really good. That's like one of the, if not for Uprising, High Voltage was the best festival I've ever been to. That was just a day in Victoria Park, and that was fucking brilliant.
No, I've done loads of them so much. I don't go to many music festivals. Not music. Well, yeah, but many live gigs as much anymore. Anyway, just because my ears. So I've generally seen most of the bands I really like. I've seen I've got.
Yeah, I feel the same way. There's only like a handful left I'm bothered about.
Yeah, I could see them again, but I'm like, this band are getting older. They won't be as good as when I saw them. So like Metallica headlining Download this year. I saw them in 2012. They played the whole of the Black Album. They were fucking brilliant. Then obviously we went to see them in London, Brandon, and they were still really good, but they weren't as good as when I saw them in 2012. Obviously you're gonna see them this year, 2 sets at Download. It's gonna be pretty cool, but they're not going to be as good as when we saw them at in London, and at London they weren't as good as when I saw them in 2012. And as I said to our mate Brandon, some of those songs on that new Metallica album feel like they were AI generated.
They do actually.
Like I re-listened to it literally the morning before I saw our mate, and I literally said half that album feels like it's AI generated.
Yeah, because quite a few of them sound really similar, samey.
I still enjoy the album, but
there's just not really as many standouts as what they were like during the 80s.
Oh, funny enough, I read on a Metallica note. I read an article today, and it goes, Metallica's debut, Master of Puppets. I was like, excuse me?
What? I'm sorry.
What?
You mean Metal Your Ass? That's the first one.
Do you know Metallica? That's it. Master of Puppets is the 3rd album. There's 2 prior.
Yeah, they completely forget about Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning.
Ride the Lightning's my favourite, so yeah, you best remember it. So.
Oh God,
was that written by someone who's only watched? Is that written by someone who's only watched Stranger Things?
I read that and I went, I am not reading this article, and I'm fucked right off. It might still be on my Google News actually. Let's see if it is. No, it's not. Although I then get Larger Ulrich doesn't know if everybody understands what Metallica is doing with no repeat.
Right. Bit of a tangent, but on about shitty articles. My folks bought a book. It's just about computer games by something called Next Level, and it's just like what clearly are like articles that have been ripped from some magazine like over the year of like 2022. And I was reading it, and this is something they've got from like the works for like a few quid, because obviously no one in the right mind will pay full money for this. Well, I was reading through the articles, like flicking through it, and I just found error after error after error. Like, not like grammatically, it's just like just incorrect things. One example, they were showing off the Guardians of the Galaxy game, and I went, oh yeah, and it's got like a picture of some of the characters with it, and it says, oh, you like meet up with Nebula. I was like, that's not Nebula, that's a completely different character. What are you talking about? And then other things like, oh, it had a bit on like Sultan Sacrifice, the sequel to Sultan Sanctuary, and it went, oh, unlike its predecessors, Sultan Sacrifice has got multiplayer. I was like, what, you mean like the first one, which has got a big multiplayer thing? There's like whole covenants dedicated to it. What the fuck are these guys smoking? And it was just like that for like the entire page. It's like, I had to put it down because I was getting like angry reading it. It's like, this is just wrong. Who's printing this and making money from it? No, stop it.
The website was Far Out Magazine. Well, you were far out with your information.
Yeah, I mean, I always try, and as I'm sure you guys do, we don't want to spread misinformation on this show. If we're unsure, I'm pretty sure we make it clear, like we're either speculating or just flat out say we don't know for sure.
But Master of Puppets is definitely not their debut.
Well, that's for sure.
No, Metal Up Their Arse was their debut, which was the first name for Kill 'Em All, but they weren't allowed to call it that. So there.
Is you being facetious, or is that true?
No, that's true. You've probably seen the artwork where it's a toilet with a guy holding a sword coming straight up from it. You may have seen it. Google it. Was it?
Okay.
Oh, it's metal up your ass, not us. That's me being British.
I'm gonna have to. 'Cause I don't,
Yeah, it's like a metal up your ass. That's the working original name for Kill 'Em All.
Sounds like metal at your ass. Metal up your ass.
Funny, you were asking earlier, what has Dave Fillion done prior, except all the Star Wars stuff? He was an animator on many shows that I know definitely Brandon and I watched. I know some of them you would have watched, Chris, like Avatar: The Last Airbender. He was an animator on that.
one.
He was an animator on like Kim Possible. Wait a minute. I was literally on it and then I've just gone off because I was looking at the stupid Metallica. Where is it? Yeah, King of the Hill.
I suppose that's brought this kind of full circle now. We started talking about Mando and we're finished talking about this.
Yeah,
There we are.
most of it's kind of like Disney shows. He did the Lilo and Stitch the series, American Dragon, Jake Long. Yeah, a lot of them are Fillmore. Yeah, most of them are like Disney animated shows. But then with Avatar: The Last Airbender, he actually directed episodes as well as animated it, or was one on the animation team.
Oh, he gets 2 paychecks that way.
Yeah, so that's where he started directing. I don't know what episodes he directed. I'm gonna have to have a look, but yes.
Well, I'm afraid you're going to have to fall down that rabbit hole in your own spare time.
I know. I will.
Actually, don't fall too down the hole because you got to climb a mountain soon.
Yeah, I did actually have something else to say, but I can't remember what I was gonna say.
Something about bands?
No, I did just on my free peeks. When I was trying to find that Metallica article, I just saw a man from Staffordshire does the free peak challenge with a fridge on his back.
What?
Well, there's your benchmark, Dan.
I'm not gonna have a fridge.
Have a microwave instead, then.
Right.
Nothing.
Well, you know where you can find us: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Anchor, Spotify.
What'd you call me?
Twat.
You called me an anchor.
I called you a wanker.
Oh, okay. Just wanted to check that.
Anchor. We're on Audible. We are wherever you get your podcast. Wherever you're listening to this, we're there. Give us a rating.
And on a very small note, we've noticed we've had quite a lot of viewers this last week. So thank you very much, everyone. You absolutely
thank you indeed.
Yeah, thanks for listening, and you'll hear us in 2 weeks. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Tatty buys.